Okay, friends. So, I'm going to try this. I'm not sure how well this is going to work using my phone to record like this, but I'll give it a shot. So, here I am, and I'm working on the first shade of painted highlight on my Assault Intercessor squad. Now, what I've done so far is I've painted them using my airbrush. And the first step is I use Mephiston Red Air paint after giving them a base coat of black. And I paint from an edge back. So the paint will be heavier here on the front edges of the armor. And then as I go to the back of the armor plate, you'll see it gets lighter. So I'll do that throughout. You see here it's more red than it is up here. And I really hate these GW poses on these intercessors. Why do they do that? I have to cut all these molded nubs off so that the models don't keep falling over. So you see it here where I painted from the top down and gave it a heavier dose of the red on top, letting it kind of fade down to black at the bottom. And that I do repeatedly throughout the model. Here I painted the front part of the gauntlet, and it gets darker at the back. So that's Mephiston Red Air. And then I use Cote d'Arms Blood Red. And this paint is the original Blood Red from Games Workshop. They used to hire this company out to make their paint for them. And when Games Workshop moved on from those original colors, probably 10 years ago, they allowed Cote d'Arms to use the recipe. So this blood red is the exact blood red that used to be one of the GW colors. And when it comes to highlighting Blood Angels especially, it's the best shade of red you can get. This Cote d'Arms blood red. So what I do with this is I mix this down with airbrush medium, and then I spray that on over the Mephiston red to kind of really bring that transition from light to dark. I'll probably do half as much with the blood red that I did with the Mephiston red. And then comes a little bit more work with washing. I'll use the Crimson wash, Carisberg Crimson, and I'll lightly lay that in to the recessed areas with my brush. I don't think I've done that yet with these guys. Maybe I won't even try it. Maybe for this squad, I'll try not. No, I think I did. Yeah. Over here, I can see that I put the wash. I forget. I've done so many models the last few weeks. Definitely on this one, you can see he's been washed a bit up in here. So the wash recedes into the recessed areas. And as I've said many times, the point is that a dark shade or hue will force a lighter hue forward in space. So when you put a dark shade next to a light hue, that color pops out more to the viewer. A little optical illusion. So the shade will fill in details and fill in recesses. I think he needs more of a shade. I'll come back to the shade in a bit though. And I put a blue shade on the weapons. First I painted them with a pretty good coat of Iron Hull Gray. P3 paint. It's a wonderful gray. It's got a lot of pigment and it spreads well. So I paint all the weapons with Iron Hull Gray. Then I give them a wash. Drakenhof Nightshade is what I'm using. There's a newer Citadel wash or shade. It's a much more brighter blue. I've also used that. So once it's dry, I can then start going back over furthering the highlight with the blood red. And what I've done is mix this with a little bit of thinner and a little bit of medium right in the pot. So those of you that see me painting straight from the pot, yes, I have actually broken the paint down a bit. Just so you know. That was always a big criticism. Valid, by the way. I tend to paint thickly from the pot. And further, blood red is a very translucent paint anyway, so you can kind of get away with pot painting with the blood red. But yeah, but with this one I went ahead and did some work on it and thinned it down a bit. So then I just get a little bit of paint on the tip of my brush, right? And then I angle in and just drag that across the leading edge where I want the highlight to be. Not sure how well you can see that, but let's see. Just kind of dragging that tip across the edges. Oh, my fingers look like they are blurring out the focus. Sorry for that. I don't work this way, where just the tip is against the edge. I reverse it and work the other way, so that now, yeah, this is going to be a problem trying to get this to work properly. My cup's got the focus. There we go. Let's see if this works. You know, so I want the tip to drag across the rest of the armor plate. Oopsie. And you end up doing all your marines kind of the same way. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Let's see if that works. Bottom edge of the thruster. Let's see if I come around this way. This might work, right? I hope this works out. Bottom edge of the thruster. I plan to do this very well with my good camera work at home, my lighting and all that. This is kind of an impromptu approach because I was just working here in my classroom during my free time. Yeah, well, it's working for what it is. It's not. This is just meant to be more fun than anything for right now. Again, just a tiny little bit of paint, grabbing the edge with it, and then dragging it up into the armor plate. When you go back and forth, this scumbling motion, it'll thin that out for you. I've already done the bulk of the highlighting with the airbrush. And now I'm just edging here to kind of further accentuate the airbrush work. I'm going to hit the front of the thrusters again here on the front of the armor, or the jump pack. I think you can see it on the camera. It looks great already. Little edge here. Yeah, look at that. That's beauty. Beauty. These little flappy things, I'm just going to kind of drag it across. There is an edge there in the middle. I'm going to let the edge grab the paint on one side of the little flappy. Ooh, look, I just snagged it. It usually takes a couple of applications on the more prominent edges to really get the paint to stick. It's so thin or translucent, which means the red does not have a lot of pigment in it. I always loved that quality of this red. Ooh, yeah. Hopefully you can see what I just did. I just touched the front of the visor there of his helmet. And it just made it pop more. So I'm red-green color deficient, which means my eyes are lacking some of the rods or cones that allow me to see certain hues of red, certain shades. So what my eyes do is replace the cones that are missing with whatever they feel like. Usually just like one single shade of red. So the effect that has is I really have to push my transition to see an effect in the gradient here, the light to dark, the value. And what that does for your eyes, I don't know. However, I have a feeling that your eyes really pop when you see this transition from light to dark that I'm seeing. Because you're seeing even more of it than I am. My finger blocks what I'm doing. You weren't seeing anything there. So I'm just going around, grabbing the edges with the red paint. Looking from the top down, being aware that the light won't be touching the bottom parts of the armor, right? If you look from the bottom up, you can see he's mostly black underneath, or even gray. I got this thought process from a codex a couple years ago, 8th edition maybe. There was a very darkly painted artwork of a blood angel, and you can see, if you look up the image, I'm sure you can find it, the tops of the armor plates exposed to the light of the environment were red. But very quickly that red faded to black around the bottoms of the armor plates. And that was kind of all where I've been since. That's kind of how I've painted. From a top-down point of view. How does that look? Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to do the whole thing here. I'll keep on going for a little bit. But I'm not sure how this is going to come out, whether the camera's taking focus on the back or not. But we'll see. It's kind of hard to see the angle and paint. Again, I'm very painterly when I paint. So I make mistakes, and then I'll kind of dab off the paint, and then come back with my brush and just kind of back and forth it down. And that kind of fixed it. I'm okay with there being brush strokes. Well, I need to go back in with the black and paint the recesses of his armor. Yeah, I don't think I did a wash on these guys, which is fine. When I go back in with the wash, I'll use a really fine brush like this one and just very accurately hit certain areas that need the wash to force the highlight out. When I paint the bottom part of the leg here, we keep seeing? I'll start at the bottom. Oh, too much paint. Start at the bottom and drag it up. Then go back down and spread it around a bit. like a scumbling. This is scumbling, right? Scumbling motion. Okay, well, I'm gonna end this one. We're hitting like 15 minutes already. Wow. And post this on YouTube. I hope you enjoy these. I'm kind of feeling more invigorated to share again. I've never really been gone, but I kind of lost the love for the teaching element. I don't know. I didn't lose the love for teaching, but my passion wasn't there, you know? So it's taken me some time to kind of rekindle that passion for what I'm doing. Making content. So I'm trying to get back into it. I've been kind of feeling the urge to do this. You know, mostly the issue is there's just so many superbly talented people out there that make better content. Like Blood Angel's Commander, for example. I found him. He's so much better than me at everything. I'm going to have to give him a shout out here. He's got a huge following, and he's kind of stepped in, really, where I had fallen back and stepped away. He kind of took over the Jawaballs Blood Angels role and made it his. Now Blood Angels Commander is the man. So check him out. I like his stuff. I watch him. He's also knowledgeable. And so yeah. But there's so many people that are doing this so much better than me, in both the talent in the painting way and the sheer videography of this. People are going to college for this now, you know? So it's kind of hard for me to even bother to compete when there's so many guys. And you guys have gotten so used to that superb level of quality. I struggle to get there with my work because I did not go to college for this. I started doing this with a little pocket camera, a little Canon PowerShot. Over the years, I upgraded to like a better camera, but you know, time works its ways. All right, so trying to rebuild the channel, trying to get it going again, and from what I understand, you know, you hear all the YouTubers say this. Don't forget to like and sub, because apparently that helps my videos get seen more by other people. The more likes I have, the more it will show up in other people's feeds. And that's what I want. I want more people to see my stuff. There he is. All right. So he's pretty much done now with that level of red. I'm going to give him a wash. I'll probably come back with a final couple of touches with the red, and then I'll hit it with some orange. So my next one will be orange. Okay, I'll see you soon. Jawaball! It's so ridiculous. I know people are commenting on the lack of the Jawaballs at the beginning of the videos. I got to figure out how to add that in here. Yeah, I think what happened was it was probably trying to focus on the word cannon the whole time. I hope not. Anyway. There's those guys. Here's my captain. Yeah. I had actually painted this model as a lieutenant. I like how that power fist just pops. Look at that. You could tell I added the power fist after painting the armor because they switched the rules, and I think the only option he has now is a power fist and plasma pistol, maybe a power sword. So it's obvious that I painted that separately from the rest of the armor. Maybe not so obvious, but anyway. There he is, my little captain. All right, friends, more to come.